You know what I'm getting sick and tired of hearing? Is when the question is posed, what is the horse good for? Or what is the horse good at? The answer of, they can do anything. That's not an answer. Let's just be honest about this. That is not an answer. Because the real question being asked is, why should I buy your breed of horse over the other breed of horse? And pretty much most breeds of horses have a legitimate answer to this. Draft horses like Elsa, the two things I'd say they're really good at is being a draft horse, doing logging with, plowing fields, anything that requires strength and power, and also being a hitch horse because her breed was bred to be very flashy in their movement for being on a hitch. You're going to run into that with most breeds. Thoroughbreds are really great at running. Some are really good at eventing. Arabians are excellent endurance horses, which makes them also excellent to cross with because they can add endurance to a horse who maybe doesn't have enough endurance. Quarter horses can pretty much do anything. You've got your other horses like the Suffolks, who is a draft horse bred specifically and only for draft work. You have your other breeds like the Standardbred, who is really good at hitch racing. Then you have like your Hackneys, who are bred to look really well driving, not a hitch, but driving. And then your Morgans are bred to just be really pretty saddle horses. They flow and they move right. So you always usually have a pretty good answer to this. The only breed where the enthusiasts have never been able to give me a good answer was the gypsy horse breed. Their go-to answer for why should we pick your horse over another horse is always they have excellent temperament and they can do anything. That can be said about literally any horse, any breed of horse. Eclipse, my other little pony who's well far away, back in a pasture over there. Sweetest horse I've ever met. She is super duper sweet, loves attention, just naturally is so. She's a quarter horse. There are Arabians just like that. There are thoroughbreds just like that. Do they tend to be a bit more high-spirited? Yeah, because they weren't bred to be dull. Like, you don't want a crazy-ass 200 or 2,000-pound horse. So they were bred to be duller. And it was kind of the same with the gypsy horse. And it's not that they don't have personality or anything. They're just bred not to be quite so high-strung. And when I say high-strung, I mean just more reactionary. Because Eclipse will react to something more than Elsa will. Elsa will usually just look at it and be like, whatever. But Eclipse, on the other hand, she'll go, what is it? She's, it's two sides. They're both actually really great behaviors to have because Eclipse is like a really smart horse, mostly because she is so sensitive to everything. Elsa, on the other hand, is practically dead broke because she just doesn't react to anything. Neither one of them are particularly dangerous. And it's the same thing with the gypsy horse. Like, there's nothing particularly special about their temperament. There are great things to be said about the temperament of every horse breed. And anything you can say about a gypsy horse, you can say about 10 other different breeds. And the same thing with they can do anything. Like, that's not what you're being asked. Any horse can do anything. That is not an answer. I can go run 5 miles. It might take me 3 days to do, but I can run 5 miles. But I am never going to compete with, like, Olympic sprinters, And that's kind of what they're asking you. They're saying, why should I choose your gypsy horse over the quarter horse down the road? And gypsy horse people have yet to come up with an actual legitimate answer for this. And the thing is gypsy horses have the really big turnoff of being a major upkeep. And that's the hidden question is, why should I pay way more money for your horse who has a whole lot of upkeep versus the quarter horse that's $200 on the road? I paid $200 for Eclipse. She's like the best horse I've ever met. I got her from an auction. And You know, with Elsa, and Elsa only has probably about half as much hair as a gypsy, and she still obviously has quite a bit. You know, it takes me almost an hour and a half to give Elsa a real deep bath. Even if I just give her a quick wash down and don't do like full conditioning and really get into the roots of her hair and everything, it still takes me a good 45-50 minutes. Eclipse, 20-30 minutes max. No matter what you say, gypsy horses are just more upkeep. All the hair is an issue. Especially down around the legs, it hides issues. Elsa last year cut her vulva open. Just so you know, that's a part of the vagina. And she had probably had it cut for a few days before I noticed it. Why? Because her tail is so gosh darn thick that I couldn't see it. And I don't brush her completely every day. The farrier was coming out and I was getting her ready, and I just, whenever the farrier comes out for whatever reason, if I'm going to pick the horse's hooves, I might as well give them a whole brush down. And I was sitting there flipping her tail around trying to get to it because, I mean, you can't just done with the horse with this much hair. You have to flip it around because there's parts hiding from you that haven't been brushed. And when I flipped her tail over, I go, I think I just saw something pink. What was that? So I flip it back, and sure enough, she's torn her vulva open, straight across the side. Right from opening to side. And the vet had to come out and stitch it. Said it was a couple days old. She actually had to scrape the scab and everything off to reopen the wound so she could stitch it together so it would heal nicely. All because she has so much hair. Gypsy horses have more. And it's the same thing with the legs. Last year, I just could not get rid of the scratches she had. Every time I thought they were gone, they'd come back with a vengeance. So in November, I just shaved her legs. Shaving takes a lot of time, or really expensive clippers, and that's just another thing that people are going to have to worry about when getting the gypsy horse breed. Why deal with all of that instead of just getting a quarter horse? And you always have your breed enthusiasts who have no other real reason to like a horse other than that they just do. I mean, I love Shire horses. I don't do hitches. I don't do draft work, at least not yet. I might in the future. But I don't do any of those things. But I still love the Shire breed. I just do. There is no real explanation for it. But I can still make selling points for them. Gypsy horse people, though, have yet to give a legitimate answer. And I have posed this question. I like gypsy horses because I like draft breeds and I like feathered breeds. And gypsies are both, and they're a bit smaller. They don't eat quite as much, and they're really pretty to look at. And let's be honest, that is the only selling point of gypsies. Like, they're just pretty. They're never going to compete at any competitive event against other horses. One or two might be pretty good at dressage, but as a whole, the breed's not going to compete with other horses with really any competition. The thing with gypsy horses, though, is that whatever they do, they're going to look darn good doing it. And, I mean, y'all don't want to admit that that's really their best selling point. Like, you only take care of all the hair and the skin issues. You only tolerate that because you find it worth it. But most people don't want to deal with that, and you guys have yet to really find any good selling point as to why somebody should take that on versus a much lower upkeep of a quarter horse. Saying that they have great temperaments or that they can do anything is not a real answer, because there are great temperamented quarter horses who can also do everything. And there are great temperamented Arabians who can do everything. That falls in with any breed as long as they are handled properly. So I think the gypsy horse community really needs to get past this whole, look, they can do anything. Like, no, they really can't. I mean, they kind of can, but they're not going to compete at it. And that's what they're asking you. Why is your horse, your breed of horse, a better breed for me to buy than this other breed of horse? And that's just not an answer. The real answer is that my breed of horse looks really freaking pretty. And there is nothing wrong with that. There are plenty of people out there who are willing to pay for a horse that sits in their pasture or is under a saddle and looks really darn pretty. Because to some people, that's all that matters.